Alright, so let's start by getting this cover off. So on this one, I think it's just pull up. No complicated anything to do here. Don't even take the cap off on this one. That comes off and it's placed gently on the ground. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Let's see how hard this is going to be. What do you think? There they are. Alright. So, coil packs individual for each cylinder. Looks like those got to come off first. So, a little more complicated than a spark plug cable, since you got to actually unbolt something, but I think we can do it. Okay, it looks like it's a size 10. Of course, it's metric since it's Japanese, and everybody's doing metric anyway. Kind of got myself a small wrench. Kind of a good thing if you don't know your torque specs on this kind of stuff. When you're taking it loose, kind of just pay attention to how hard you have to pull on your wrench, and when you go to put it back about the same amount of tension. So that was actually pretty snug. I'm sure you probably noticed that. Let's see. Yeah, that's what I would call snug. So, all right. Okay, so we got 2 of them out now. Going for number 3. Right off the bat, when you're doing this stuff, you kind of notice things like, what are you going to do with these nuts as you're pulling them out of here, these little bolts? You need to be thinking about that as you do this stuff, because you don't really want to lose them. I'm working out in the yard. So, what am I going to do with all these bolts? Well, turns out, built-in tray included on every car. Alright, so that's what you do. Just keep your eyes out for stuff like that. Place you can put it where you won't lose it. Alright, let's see if we can get this first one out of here. Okay, so I'm cheating a little bit. Now, the first 2 I was able to get out without actually unplugging them from the harness. I figure the least amount of disconnection, the better. Kind of reduce, you know, connection wear or possible loss of connection. But, you know, as I'm getting closer to the back here, there's a cable clamp here. Now, I could probably wiggle that loose, but once again, I don't want to break anything, so this is going to be easier to take loose in that case. So this kind of connector, it's kind of looks like you can pinch it and it'll lift up over, but it doesn't quite lift up over. So I got myself a little prod tool, you know, stuck under there, pried it up. Kind of hard to show you guys this with one hand, but you get the idea. You know, I squeeze that connector, it lifted up a little bit, and then I got my screwdriver under, lifted it just a smidge, and then wiggled until it came loose. All right, now we can try this one. Let's see if it'll come loose, but I don't think it will. You can tell that little connector just doesn't quite lift up over. All right, let's see what we can do. There you go, one connector off. When you take them loose, they have a little spring down there that's holding on to the top of that spark plug. You're just kind of pulling up, and then out it comes. And let's keep them in the same spot, so we don't want to accidentally change anything that we don't have to. We only want to change one variable at a time. Alright, we're going to go down there, try to get this thing out. Got a 9/16 now. Already checked it for size a minute ago. May not be able to put it down there with the wrench on. Let's see. Yeah, this is going to be a tight fit here. I'm going to have to go get a wobble bit just to get down that hole. So, here we go. Alright guys, so like everything that you try to do, projects stop sometimes. I'm going to go for a ride real quick. Little glitch in the plan. Gonna need a wobbler extension for this job, and of course I'm gonna need a spark plug socket that I don't have. So I didn't have a 9/16. This job requires a 9/16 spark plug socket. You could do, you know, you could take like a paper towel and stick in your socket, and then that would cause friction. But considering Right now, all I need is like, I already need to get a different kind of extension, a shorter one, a 2-inch extension instead of the 6-inch extension. So I need the shorter extension. I need the wobbler type extension so that I can kind of go around the hook and back down in that hole. So all that considered, I'm gonna have to make a trip to the store. So here we go. All right, so believe it or not, still the same day. Just had to change shirts because I had a little issue with a bee out here. So I figured maybe a different color shirt might not attract bees. This thing has escalated, so we've got tools. I had a little tool haul and got quite a bit of little new accessories here to try to figure this out with. I'll give you a little look at what I picked up. Okay, the first thing I got was not a just wobble extension, but I actually got a swivel, which probably turns out a good idea, but I still have wobbler extensions. I got a whole set of them, obviously. You know how it is. And then got a set of those in case that has to be done. And I did actually pick up a socket 9/16 so I can pull the spark plug out of the hole. And it turns out I've already tried, so far I got one of them loosened up, but I'm actually using my regular wrench right now, or a regular socket, because that piece of rubber is so tight. So this way I can get on it and go ahead and free it up, but these are pretty tight. So just note to self, they are not easy to turn at the first. Obviously I don't have a lot of torque on it with that one hand right up against the wrench, but that's kind of intentional. There we go. It should smooth out. I'll run that out real quick for you. I'm on spark plug 2. The other one's still in the hole. I'm not going to take them out until I get to the end there, and I'll put the spark plug socket on there. And that should be it. And so you can see regular socket is not taking it out, but it is loosening it. And the swivel is kind of letting me turn this corner here and get in the hole and then get on it. So I'm glad I did the swivel. Of course, it's a lot extra money. Oh, you can hear that one turn. You can kind of see that rubber down in there, a little piece of black rubber. And in theory, if I've actually loosened this, it shouldn't take much. Hey, and there you go, guys. One spark plug. I didn't think that was ever going to work out. So there it is, 105,000 miles. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Iridium tips, Toyota. It looks like it's worn it down a little bit. I mean, I'm looking at this thing, and I don't know about you guys, but not a lot of wear. I mean, you can see the cone itself there where the spark is going across is done a little damage, but these things don't look that bad. 105,000 miles. Hard to tell. We'll see if it's an improvement or not, but you know, this is recommended maintenance for 105, so we'll see. Hey, okay, so I just took the spark plug socket off there, and check that out. Got a little arc in here. So yeah, I guess that would be your real wear. You're gonna have spark jumping from the tip of that plug down to here because it's not firing over here. So that would be my missing. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, that might actually be a noticeable difference. What is that? SC20 HR11. Over here, a pair of these. There it is. same one. Still made in Japan too. Pretty cool. All right, let's get this thing back in there. I don't know if this is the proper way, but I'm just going to barely put it back in there, right in that little rubber grommet. Hopefully it won't pull the rubber back out of there. Let's see if we can't put it down that hole without hitting the tip on anything. Down she goes. See if we can't get her to catch a couple threads here. This thing has a long thread, so. And I think it just started to catch. Yeah, let's pull up and see if we lost her. Yeah, she's in there. All right, fourth and final, guys. I want to make sure I make note of this, but before you go to town on these things, I'm hand tightening it. There's no wrench here, and like you can see here, I'm not even on it, so I can't turn it with this socket the way it is now. So, you know, when you go to put these in, this is aluminum. So you want to put these in by hand, and it should be easy to turn. Look how long these threads are. So you're going to be turning for a couple seconds to get that down in there. You're going to turn it. You don't need a lot of torque. You know, I have the friction of that rubber hose inside there. That's it. So I'm going to have it all the way down to the bottom before I actually put a little torque on it. So just keep that in mind. This is a finesse thing, not a gorilla thing. Okay. Last thing to note, after you get done installing it and you pull out the very last plug, look down in there. There's the hose still inside there. It's not left behind. All right, you can see the carnage. So they're all pretty worn out. I think they were right. It's time. All right, proof here, guys. I actually am reading the directions here to make sure I know how the install is supposed to be done. So you can see where it says turn in by hand, direction to rotate with the wrench, and here's the gasket seat. So it looks like it wants a quarter turn to a half of a turn. Okay, so there it is. Got all my spark plugs in, got them torqued. You know, a lot of that is just down to feel. A lot of times, you know, I read the directions there, but when I turn it, like I said in the beginning, I felt how tight it was when I took it loose. So I bring it down until I feel like those threads are tight. Alright guys, so it's basically reverse order. I think you kind of get the idea. I'm sliding these coil packs back down inside. You know, just placed them in there, finger. Starting these with my fingers, so I'm not, you know, using a wrench or anything like that, or drill. You know, you're in your backyard. You don't need a lot of fancy tools to do this kind of thing, but we're just getting it down all the way. That way we got as much of this aluminum caught as we can, and we got it kind of centered up there. I've already kind of checked it a little bit to make sure they were seated properly. You know, push them down, wiggle a little bit, you know, just make sure they're all the way bottomed out on top of that plug. At this point, I'm just, you know, trying to make sure that the coils are snug down. Alright, I got these two connectors. Obviously, they have to go back on. Listen for the click. There you go. Click. Heck, I checked these even though I didn't take them off. I was pulling on them. Make sure they're all snug. Let's go get a 10mm and snug down those. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Put that thing in the other direction. I'm not going to put a lot on these. I mean, they're just simply holding that coil down. I just don't want them to back out. This is all this. That's the only amount of tension I really need. These things aren't performing an amazing task here or anything. They're just simply holding the coils down in the hole so they don't jump back out.